Mesdames et messieurs, ladies and gentlemen, veuillez accueillir, please welcome votre maître de cérémonie, your master of ceremony, Tony Babinski.
Good morning. Hi, everybody. My name is Tony. Welcome to Montreal. It's great to have you all here. Welcome to Michelin Movin'On inside the beautiful cabaret. It's a fantastic, beautiful day in Montreal. It's nice and sunny and dry. It's one of those May days that bring out the very best in our city, and I think brings out the best in all of us, which is great because the challenges we're all facing in sustainable mobility require many hands on deck and many people working together. This year, Michelin Movin'On has grown from last year. Some of you may have been here last year. Everything's bigger. Our stage is bigger. We're handling more topics. Last year was a lot about personal transportation. Now we're talking about intermodal transportation in all its forms and the impact of cities and on cities and of digitization and on digitization, etc. So very exciting times. We're also bigger because there are more people from more places. We have guests here from 26 countries and 5 continents. It's a truly international event that's drawn together some of the finest minds and the brightest imaginations. So it should be a lot of fun. We're going to start today with a keynote address by a man who's at the forefront of digitization, Mr. KAM HE, who's Director of Solutions for Alibaba Cloud America. So please welcome Mr. KAM HE.
Good morning. My name is KAM HE. I'm the Director for Solution and Consulting for America. And so this is a good opportunity for us to share some of Alibaba experience and with the smart city IoT, and so this is my presentation. Sorry. Can we go to the next page? So today I want to talk about the few things here. The first, I would like to introduce a little bit about the Alibaba's the ecosystem and also the connectivity of IoT from the IoT to AI, and also some of the KPIs we see in the market and for the smart city. So what kind of KPI that we have? The Alibaba City Brain. And for the City Brain platform, and also the how City Brain platform can benefit for the city governance. And the last, I want to share with you some of use cases today. Thank you. So Alibaba, known as the e-commerce platform, has been many years, 18 years in the market, and globally, and also in the Asian market. But also Alibaba has its own digital marketing and also the digital media. Alibaba also has a break-and model for the local and the services such as the Alibaba Map, Alibaba local brick-and-mortar stores. Also has Alibaba's travel technology. All of these things really sits on the Alibaba platform, from a payment to logistics and to a precision marketing of that. On top of that, it really is the bottom of the technology. All of this really is driven by the data. It's not working. So you can see all these Alibaba's many business units is driven really by the data behind the scene. So this is the data, it's like a data factory to taking all these process data and process in the many different fashions for the service for all different business units. This is talking about the scale of a very large data with billions of transactions, with trillions of API calls, and for all the business units that we run. So how do we support all these business units? How do we support all this data? It really comes down to the architecture and all the different layers of our system. So from the bottom of the data center network and to a storage, to a computing platform, data platform, and all the way to the algorithm of the machine learning and also a AI technology. And with that, the core piece of that is the city brain. The city brain, which the ET brain is the core where you can support many different kind of verticals from a smart city, from the logistics, from a smart logistics, from aviation, and from a manufacturing for Industry 4.0. And all of this is supported by this technology behind. And we have 18 regions. We're doing business all over the world, and from Asia, North America, and all the way to Europe. So how this data gets into the system, and if we're looking at it, really there's a physical world and a digital world. And in order to have all this data to be processed, really we have to do is taking the physical world and digitalize into a digital world. So we're going to create a digital layer, an abstraction of the physical world to the digital world. And how do we do that and to make it that efficient, to make it that seamlessly? So the IoT is another data set to bring the data from the device level and all the way push that into the cloud. And then we can do a lot of processing. And the IoT is the new frontier to collecting the data and from a device level. So Alibaba will make this value chain from all the way to device to a cloud, that value chain seamlessly. Because the IoT is multidisciplined and a very long value chain, and usually there's a different skill set how that works. So we can make that seamlessly by creating this IoT cloud-based IoT suite to have the device level to be able to register the device very easily, securely, to take that data and then moving that into the cloud. And through the cloud, we can have a different kind of mechanism to process whether it's imaging data, whether it's text data, whether it's the video footage, and all different kinds of data that we'll be able to process as we need it. So this is a very quick architecture behind the scene. So we talk about IoT. And it's really one of the big use cases today is the smart city. And the smart city is rated the #1 of IoT application today. So I want to use the smart city as the IoT use case here. So when we do a smart city, there's really a lot of things we need to basically to make sure that before we start a project, and what kind of end results that we're going to get. So we're talking about how to address the public perception about the conjunctions, about how efficient of the smart city traffic. So this is something about how do we treat the emergency response time, cutting down the emergency response time. How do we know the passengers? How do we know the traffic of the mobility right now in the city? How do we improve that? These are the end goal that we're looking at. The city brain really has addressed some fundamental fundamental the breakthroughs. So from the governments and to the service model and also to the industry, we want to make sure the industry and be on board. Because a lot of cities right now want to make it not only efficient, and also want to make the cities more livable. So here is the structure of how smart city we view and how smart city that we implement in the different parts of the world and also many cities. So if you look at this, this structure, you can see there are many data touch points, and whether you can see the data coming from the public data and the private data, enterprises data, and also the data from a different type of data format going through this data collection layer. So if you look at this data and right now, so on the left from number one is the service provider data. So we can have a service provider data through different kind of networking and going to the system. And we will have a public data and the public data about the public bus information. And the private data, so some of traffic management system that you can use and collecting all these data, whether it is the bus, whether it's a taxi, and all of this data will be collecting to the system. And also you can look at it, we work closely with the government, and there are a lot of data which is already available from cities, either from the surveillance and also from a traffic light control. All this data, it's available. So then the data will be pushing to the layer of the data collection. So we'll be standardizing data, clean up the data, and a slice of this data for the different purpose. Then the data will be pushing to the next layer. We do a data kind of algorithm for the machine learning, and also the data platform can actually slice the data to a different kind of a usage of the verticals. So this is really a different, this is really the foundation of collecting the data. For any smart project, you probably, when you start with, you probably don't have that much data. But the core here is really the foundation and the structure that we build. We can start with we can start with a smaller set of data, and start maybe from the government data to push that into the platform and make that available to attract some of enterprises to come into to bring that data into this platform. So this platform becomes more valuable and more scalable and be able to service more public for the cities, for citizens. And also here you can have a command center. You can actually live monitoring about how the data, how the traffic that works. So imagine this is the foundation. This is the core technology behind for Alibaba. And you can apply to many different industries. You can apply to many different kind of smart logistics. The key is collecting the data, processing data, and have the algorithm work behind. And you can use this data and do a lot of studying and do algorithm studying to actually see what's the best route and how do we plan for city infrastructure? How do we plan the road networking? How do we make everything efficient? So these really is the key of that. So this is the abstraction of the smart city, from a technology perspective. So here I really want to give some of use cases here to actually looking at some of the implementation we have done in the different cities. So this is using the traffic monitoring, live traffic monitoring to be able to monitor what's going on in the city. So taking that image data and processing them behind the scene and be able to tell where the accident is and where is the predictor of the accident and also actually seeing the accident, and we can devote that some of traffic, devote some of emergency, and to solve the traffic problem. So this is another example of that. We use a city, smart city in the city brain technology. Behind the scene, we can actually capturing what's the best route for a emergency response vehicle to get to the destination in the shortest time. So initially, we're talking about how do we measure a success of a smart city project. These are some of the facts that we run smart city project, and these are the things that we see the improvement of that. Such as, in the city of Hangzhou, we'll be able to see 500 plus of incidents, which is reported daily in the 92% of accuracy. And in some of the districts, we see the average driving speed in increase. And in China, traffic is pretty congested, and use the city brain, the ET brain, and we can able to increase some of increase the speed of traffic, and also the response time of emergency. And you can see that cutting down the time for about 50%. 50% is very, very huge number. We're talking about the life and the deaths in some cases. So this is really some of results as part of this smart city and implementation in the different parts of the world. This is another example of the event monitoring. So taking all the images and then knowing what's going on in the city, and every corner of the city is really important. So where is the traffic congestion? Where is the big event is going on? We can be able to manage that. We know where exactly what's happening. So this is a huge benefit for a smart city implementation in the event. And we can also when we know the event, what's happening, we'll be able to dispatching the vehicles to the most need to use the vehicle. So also we'll be able to grade the city infrastructure and be able to see where's the traffic happening on the highway, where the traffic is happening in the local. So another example of that is be able to dispatching and giving the ETA of what's happening and for a public transportation. And where the stops, where is the bus stop, we can analyze the bus stop and be able to devote the traffic accordingly. And the public safety is also important to a city. Every city needs to know, maybe there is a hazard kind of a vehicle, what's happening, or maybe there's a crime, what's happening. With all the video capture and the image capture, we'll be able to, by picking up a few search criteria quickly and be able to replay, be able to see what's going on, be able to help and the officials to allocating and what we most need, what we need to find. So we also can digitize of the entire city and be able to quickly to take the image of the city and be able to give the heat map of what's going on. So one of the bigger important factor is to be able to have a dashboard and be able to see and where exactly the city and what's the efficiency of a city is running. So when we look at the smart city implementation, we also have to have some of KPIs and be able to see how efficient the city it is running. So whether it is from their energy consumption, whether it is from traffic control, whether it is how air pollution, and we can use this dashboard to put all this information and all together. So this is so we can slice dice individually, and also we can be able to presenting all of different aspect of the city and into a one dashboard and be able to see that what's going on. So let's summarize off of that. So what is the city brain and actually can help and benefit to the government? So with the traffic management is one of the core benefit of that. So we can do a massive, with its massive cloud computing data processing capability, and the city brain can optimize the flow of traffic and the signals, calculating them and calculating the time to reach to intersection. It will also be generate the structure, summarize the data, and for actually in the particular lane, and it can be used to facilitate and include incident detection. So these are the traffic management, and I will help in the urban planning. So we will know what's going on in the city, and we can actually know maybe the city where they're going, and also the growth of a city, and from an economic standpoint of view. And also urban management system. So we can be, through this ET brain, we bring all these siloed data, and it used to be running each different system and for an organization or for city. Now we'll be able to bring all these data together and be able to accurate, real time, and to see all 360 degrees of the city, what's happening. And also the innovation. So we provided this platform and be able to help startup companies, enterprises to learn and use this platform to learn the machine learning and also the AI. So these are the smart cities implementation, some of examples around the world, and we have been implemented in many different cities. So really we're here is to share some of smart city implementations, and we are a company like to empower and enable other businesses and work together. So we very much like to be part of your smart city journey, and we can have a continued discussion, and if you're interested with Alibaba solution. And these are the companies, our partners that will work together. And hopefully that this presentation can shed some lights, and we can, finding some, collaboration and finding a way that we can be part of your successful journey. Thank you very much.